guys, I'm Laura with the Tempe Public Library, and today I'm going to show you how to make little paper beads out of old books. So if you want to do this, you're going to need some supplies, of course. The first thing you're going to need is a book. We're going to use the pages inside of an old book for this. Next, you're going to need scissors in order to cut out what we're going to make our beads. You're going to need something to spool around so that you can wrap the beads around this so that they'll have an opening. You can use any kind of tool for this. You could use this, or you could use something like a paintbrush, anything that's thin that you could wrap it around. Next, you can use some blank paper. You don't have to, but I like making templates for what I'm gonna cut out of the book for my beads, just so they're consistent, but you of course can freehand it. We're gonna need glue in order to glue the beads together when we wrap them. You can use anything like Elmer's glue or some Mod Podge. Another optional thing is top coat. I used a glossy top coat on mine so that they're really shiny. You need something to put the glue on, so I use just paint brushes. Then we need something to dry the beads on. I just use an old box with some flattened out paper clips on it. This is just so that they dry and you know that the opening is open. You could use a block of styrofoam with skewers in it, anything that can hold your beads. And then if you do want to make something like jewelry, you'll need something to put your beads together. I'm going to use a little bit of wire, but you can use string or anything you want. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so as you can see, I already have a couple cut out just to kind of show you what they're going to look like. These are the templates I was talking about. I just kind of cut out some longer triangles. There's a lot of different shapes you should be able to play with. Like this one's gonna be a double and it's gonna make this kind of bead, or just a single one will make more of this kind of bead. However thick the bottom is of course gonna be how thick your bead is. So take note of that as you're making them if you want smaller beads or bigger beads. These are just a couple of shapes you can do, but play around and see what kind of shapes you like. So first thing is, of course, we need some book pages. So we'll just choose whatever ones you want. I usually don't like using ones from the end of a chapter because they won't have much on them. So we'll go ahead and we'll use these. You can try ripping out the pages, which probably feels a little weird, or you can just cut them out. So we'll start with just a couple pages. The nice thing about this is you can of course do more than one bead at once by putting the pages together. So we'll go ahead and we will just put our first template on here, and then we will take our scissors. The important thing about the templates is that they're mostly the same on both sides, mostly symmetrical. That'll just make your beads look nicer. Okay, so then we'll cut them out. So once you do that, you'll have a couple that you made from your template. So next what you want to do is grab whatever tool you're going to wrap them around. I have a paper quiller, so that's what I'm going to use. So what you're going to do is you're going to lay down the paper that you're going to use and put the spool at the very end. Then you're just going to take some glue and you're just gonna put a little on there to start. You can paint the whole thing at once if you want, just don't put too much glue on it. Or you can just glue it as you roll. So just line it up with the spool, and then you're just gonna roll it. And what that does is it's gonna make sure that the beads have a little hole so that you can string them on things. So just watch and see if you need more glue or not. Like I'll need a little more now. And then if you're using this kind of shape, once you're about here, just make sure you're rolling them at the same angle so that you get kind of symmetrical bead. I like to do them one at a time. And once you get to the last bit, you're going to want to use a dab more glue. And then just pull it tight and put it in there. And then I'll do the other side. I'll just roll this up here. Roll, roll, roll. Okay, and then at that point, you can actually just rip off the little points, as you kind of see I just did, or you can cut them off, or you can keep them. It's all however you want. Like I said, a lot of experimenting can go into this to see what you like. So then I have this, and now I'm gonna add that top coat I was talking about, and this is what's gonna make them shiny. So they're gonna be shiny like this one. Might not be able to see it on camera. Okay, so we're just gonna take our top coat. You can leave it on the spool for this point. I don't mind getting my fingers all glued on, so I'm just gonna do it like this. This will help make the beads a little more water resistant as well. Not that you can go into the pool with them or anything, but just from little water mishaps. And then once you do that, they're ready to go on the drying rack. So you just put them on there to dry. And then you go on making your beads until you have as much as you want. So let me show you how these ones look. So once again, you take your spool at the end, roll it. I usually roll it just a little bit, and then you're gonna add your glue. Oop, added way too much down there, so we're gonna brush it up. This craft is very forgiving, so don't be afraid, like I said, to experiment or mess up. I've also undone them after I've rolled them, and they still come apart pretty easy if they're wet, so. I'm gonna roll, roll, roll. See, just like that, I took some of it apart because I was pulling up more on one side than the other. I'm gonna finish rolling it. Okay, make sure you always glue that end. This time I'll leave the end on there, and you'll see it makes pretty cool point. But if you want it to meld in with the rest of it better, like I said with the other one, just pull off those tips or cut them off. So now we have that, and now we're just gonna add some gloss. Okay, and then another one ready for drying. Okay, so that's how you make paper beads out of book pages. You guys can make them big or small. Like I said, I encourage you to try out different shapes and sizes of paper, kind of experiment to see what you like with your beads. If you guys are signed up for summer reading, well, if you're not, you should be, so go sign up on our website. I do have a secret code word for you that will get you extra points. The code word is gonna be book beads, so put that in online in order to get those bonus points. I hope you guys have fun with this craft, and we'll see you next time.